Hi, I napped. Oh, food, sorry. I napped when I got home, so I didn't notice you. Grateful and apologetic. Text. I'm still like kind of out of it, and I've been up for 2 hours. Big news. I got awarded disability today, and that's great. It's a 6-page letter, but the first sentence was, I reviewed your case and I award you disability from the judge. And then he's like, you have 60 days to appeal. So I was like, like, who the hell would appeal? Be like, I don't want disability after going through this 2-year extremely annoying process. And then something like, you will, if you do not respond within the next 60, you will be examined by an office, and if you don't respond in 60 days, I guess I lose my disability. And the only thing I could think of is the Social Security office has an office where I was examined for like 2 minutes, when I first began this journey, by a psychologist who was dressed like a hooker, like more like a S&M, like dominatrix, actually. I guess that's sort of like a hooker. And she was very short with me, like not just uninterested, really, asking me like her quick questions and only letting me give her quick answers. And it was unbelievably like nothing. It was nothing. And it was she who said she felt that I was not eligible. And therefore, I had to go on the journey of the appeal process. And, I've heard it's like folklore. Like, I mean, everyone knows that goes into this that you get rejected on the first round, and then you have much greater chance of getting it the second round. And if you don't, there's a third round, you can appeal it. But anyway, I hated this bitch. And then, like a week after my hearing with the judge and the lawyer earlier this summer, I had to go back to the Social Security office and get reviewed again by a psychologist. And it was her. And it was a more extensive interview, but she was like, I had written on some forum that I couldn't cook for my family. I can't. Like, I used to cook all the time. Like, I'm passing on all my recipes to Paul. And it's like, don't have it in me. I actually made beef stew last week. It was like a triumph. So it was on there that I don't cook anymore, as part of my mental illness. And I don't know, she was asking something about like my relationship with Poppy or the things I do for Poppy. And I said something about like, I get her up and dressed and, I cook for her. And she was like, cook for her? It says here that you don't cook for her or that you don't cook for your family. And I was like, well, if you call pouring milk into a bowl of cereal or heating up a hot dog cooking, then by all means, I've lied on my form. I said that. I was like, fuck you, bitch. Because it was the same woman, so I kind of hated her. Okay. So anyway, and I was like, oh my God, like, is she gonna, like, I had already had my judge hearing. And I didn't even understand. I had to meet with her again. I guess it was just like more a gathering of information for the judge or whatever. But anyway, I was like, is she going to sabotage me? Because I was like kind of sarcastic and aggravated with her stupid question. It's not totally stupid. I guess I could be, cooking souffles and beautiful omelets and soups and lovely salads for Poppy every day. That would show that I can cook for my family. But so, why am I saying this? Because, so what the thing that I got today, the first sentence is like, you've been awarded. But then it's like, you're going to an office, and if you don't respond within 60 days, something, I can't remember, but implying that you have to do this other step. And if you don't do it within this amount of time, then you don't get your disability, I guess. I'm like, what office? Social Security office? And it's like, this office will be revealed at the end of this document, and it's a 6-page document. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll find out where I have to go. And I'm reading the 6-page document and like having a little trouble with reading comprehension because it's like so dense. It's like the smallest font and like the spacing is like one spacing and it's all written in confusing like legal language, like where it could be so simple but it's not. And it goes through what I say I have and then what everyone who is that they could find, who I found, to comment on what's my deal. So the doctors that I've been seeing, therapists, and so it would be like Dr. Kulkarni attests to the claim that Allison Hurley has a bipolar disorder according to the criteria of ABC 123, as well as post-traumatic stress disorder according to the criteria of ABC 123. And it is she was unsure of Allison's ability to sustain full-time or part-time work. She declined to comment either way. So it'd be like stuff like that for everyone that I've seen. And it says my mental illness started in November 2014. That pisses me off, but that's when I applied for disability. But I'm like, I was diagnosed in 93. So I'm like, I said, how much money am I going to get? I've had a lot of jobs in those years. Like, I don't even understand how much money I'm going to get. This is 2014. I had 2 jobs. 2 weeks, like, I worked 1 week at one job and 1 week at another. So, are they going to, it doesn't say anything about money in this thing. I don't understand that piece of the puzzle. So I try not to get too excited about this. Like, I've won the jackpot. Oh, someone told me it was like based on, okay, this makes sense. It comes from the Social Security that I've been paying out of my paychecks, all my jobs, all my life. It's basically taking it from my future. So it's not that great. It's like, when I'm old, I'm not gonna have Social Security because I'm having it now. But it'll sure help now. All my jobs have been low paying, but lots of jobs not lasting very long. I don't know. So anyway, okay, this 6-page document. So it would be like Dr. Kulkarni, her opinion was given weight, but not great weight. And then it'd be like, da 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 da, doctor, and he was given great weight. Dr. Allen wasn't given great weight. It was like he affirms that I have these diagnoses and that they impair my daily life, but that he reserves judgment about my ability to work. And like, kind of like back when he did it, like he told me that he had sent it in and everything, I had started crying because I have shame about this. And he's like, don't worry. He's like, you know, I wrote it so that you're gonna get this and you need it, and like you're so loving and assuring. But it was kind of like he was like one of the lesser. He didn't exaggerate enough, not exaggerate, but make enough of a statement. So he got medium weight or something. It's just hard to read this thing. I have Paul to read it. I wish I had my sister to read it, but whenever I've had a legal thing, she's always like, "Oh, I'll read it for you," and then it like doesn't happen. When I was getting divorced from Kevin, I filed for divorce on my own at the courthouse. I was pregnant. I was ready. It had to be done, and I gave her a call, and I was like, "Hey, I filed for divorce today. Like, woohoo! Like taking action." And she, oh my God, she was with McCarthy not running, in the airport, getting ready to catch a plane to not Venezuela, whatever country is next to Venezuela. Okay, anyway, a South American country or Central American. That she says Allison planned because she was jealous that I went to Spain. Okay, anyway. Yeah, because it was 2010. It was like a year after you and I had gone to Spain. And so she made a big deal of making a trip to a place of Spanish culture. So, anyway, okay, so I'm like, yeah, I filed for divorce. And she has this, oh God, this like snappy, impatient, like, I've told you about the tone. And she's like, well, she's like, first of all, you did that without me. She's like, I don't want you to take any more steps without me. And she's like, I can't talk. I'm on the way to blah blah blah. We'll talk about this later. So after her vacation, I gave her a little time because I was nervous about understanding legal language and stuff. And she didn't approach me on it. I actually gave her, I was like, she said she'd do this. And she didn't think about it and contact me. A momentous event in my life and her sister's life. Nothing. So I just went ahead and finished it, and it was fine. I got divorced. You know, no children, no assets, whatever. But then the other thing was, before that, I needed to apply for bankruptcy. My medical debt from hospitalization before. And she was all about like, oh, I did Monica's work coworker. I did Monica's, and I did Jacqueline's. So this is a no-brainer for me. And she's like, I'll take care of this for you. Like we'll get through this. And then I would call her, and she'd be like, oh, I can't talk right now, and blew me off. And then I found there's a clinic in Portland where you meet with legal aid attorneys, and they go over your stuff and they advise you. And like I read about it, got great reviews, like how helpful it was, and it's free. And you had to bring all your documents, all your shitty bills, mail, blah, blah. And I was like on the verge of doing it. On the phone, I was pregnant, and like I just kind of lost. And then the bad people stopped calling me the creditors, debtors. I'm the debtor. They stopped calling. And once we moved to New York, I haven't heard anything. I don't even think I've had credit anymore. Okay, 1450. Gotta go. Bye. I miss you.